Hey everybody, welcome to Carlin's Cuisine. Today we're going to be making a chicken pot pie casserole from scratch. Recipe brought to you by Stella Parks of Series Seats. Let's get into it. The first thing we're going to need is a stock pot large enough to hold everything. This one is 32 quarts. We're also going to need a very sharp knife and a cutting board. And here's the ingredients. Got 2 large onions, some sticks of celery, and some carrots, your classic mirepoix, and some parsley, a head of garlic, some unflavored gelatin if needed, and a few bay leaves. And lastly, we'll need a few chicken carcasses left over from other projects. To start, we're just going to go ahead and peel all these carrots. And just go ahead and chop the ends off and cut them up into smaller pieces. It doesn't have to be too fine. Once you got all those chopped up, just dump them in the pot. Now we're going to do the same thing with the celery. Once those are chopped up, add them to the carrots in the pot. Next we're going to go ahead and cut up and peel some onions. Start by cutting them in half. Take the skins off of them. Once we got all of them peeled, we're just going to go ahead and chop them. Start by cutting the top off, making a few slices down the side. Go ahead and do a few more down the top, and then just chop it up. Just go ahead and repeat that on the remaining halves of onion, and you'll be good to go. And then once you get all those chopped up, just toss them in a bowl. Then we're going to add those to the celery and carrots in the pot. Alright, now we're just going to go ahead and smash and peel some garlic. Just give it a good whack with your knife. And once you do that, just go ahead and peel those cloves up. Now that we got all of them peeled, we'll just go ahead and give them a rough chop. Then go ahead and toss them in the pot with everything else. Just go ahead and add a few sprigs of parsley in there. Really just do however much you want. And then toss in a bay leaf. And then that's all our vegetables. So we're going to go ahead and add some chicken to that. Once you got everything in there, just go ahead and add enough water just to barely cover everything. And my chicken pieces were a little frozen, so I went ahead and broke them up a little bit. And once you got everything in the pot, just go ahead and throw it on high heat and bring it to a simmer. And if you'd like to add in some additional herbs, I used just a few sprigs of thyme. And we had an extra chicken carcass, so I just went ahead and cut that up and threw it in the stock as well. Once you got everything in there, just give it a good stir. And this is what it's looking like about an hour into simmering. Now that we got that going, we can start on the filling. For this, we're going to need a pan and a casserole dish. Here I used a 7x11. And here's all the ingredients. We're going to need some chicken stock, a packet of unflavored gelatin, a stick of butter. Here we got some flour and some Worcestershire sauce. And then we also got some shredded chicken. I poached it in some of the chicken stock. And we got some white wine. Another mirepoix mix, just cut up a little finer. Some extra chicken stock. Some frozen peas. Some thyme. And don't forget the kosher salt and pepper. Alright, first we're going to take our chicken stock and gelatin and just dump that right in there. Here we're using 2 packets of gelatin and about a 1/4 cup of stock. Just give it a good stir and let that rest for about 5 minutes. And next we're going to go ahead and make the blonde roux for our base. Start off by melting that whole stick of butter in a pan over medium heat. And once that's all melted, we'll go ahead and add our flour and get our roux base going. Just give it a good stir. Should be turning a little golden brown for our blonde roux. Once you got your roux looking good, just go ahead and add about half of the chicken stock you reserved. Go ahead and stir it in until there's no lumps and it's all fully incorporated. Once you got everything added, it should start to thicken up and look kind of like mashed potatoes. Now we're going to take our mirepoix and just add that right into our roux chicken stock base and stir that until fully incorporated. And now we're going to take our white wine and measure out about a 1/2 cup. Make sure it's in slow motion. That should be enough. And we'll go ahead and take that and add it to our base, which has been simmering over medium heat. And then we'll add a little bit more of our chicken stock. Go ahead and stir that till everything's fully incorporated and simmer it on medium till the vegetables start to soften. And just take it off the heat. And now we're going to go ahead and add in our frozen peas, along with our shelled chicken stock. And again, stir everything until fully incorporated. Now we'll take a few sprigs at a time, just take the leaves off those, add them right to the pot. We'll go ahead and add a pinch of kosher salt, a little bit of freshly cracked black pepper, and some Worcestershire, a few good cloves. And of course, we're going to stir that until everything is fully incorporated. Now we're going to add in our poached shredded chicken. And be sure that your pan is already overflowing before you add that in there, just so you can get some on your counter. And go ahead and mix that up until all the chicken's covered by your base. Once you got everything mixed together, be sure to give it a taste. Give your cameraman a sample as well. Now we're just going to take our chicken roux base and add that into our casserole dish. And now onto the biscuit top. For this, we're just going to need a spoon and a bowl, any bowl will work. And for the ingredients, we're going to need some all-purpose flour, a little bit of kosher salt, some baking powder, some granulated white sugar, 2 sticks of butter, and some buttermilk. Make sure it's extra cold. First, we're going to go ahead and cut the butter up into some cubes. And once that's done, we're just going to go ahead and add everything else into our bowl. Here goes the flour, our kosher salt, about a tablespoon of baking powder, and just give that a quick stir. Now we're going to go ahead and add in the butter to that mix. Once you got all the butter added in, we're just going to use our hands and give that a nice squeeze, get all the butter pieces broken down in the flour. Once you got a nice chunky consistency, we're just going to go ahead and add our cold buttermilk into this mixture and give it a nice stir with our spoon. And now that we got those whipped up, we're just going to go ahead and spoon those on top of our casserole. Just be sure not to do it too thick or you'll end up with some doughy biscuits. Just make sure you get all the pieces covered. You don't want any casserole showing under your biscuits. Forget to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. And we're just going to go ahead and bake that for an hour or until the top looks golden brown, just like it does here. Now you can serve that in a bowl or on a plate. It's a great meal any day of the week. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And I don't know what to say, man.